True Gamer here with another episode. Today I've got a special video for all my wonderful subscribers out there, and that is a quick preview of my amazing mini console collection. Now I'm going to start with the oldest first. That is the C64 Mini, in other words known as the Commodore 64 VIC-20, and that was released June 1980. Now as you see, it has these multicolour lines next to the C64 logo, and that was iconic, and that was kind of like the brand's hallmark when it comes to identifying this machine. You would always know from that logo there with the multicoloured lines and saying C64. Now the box, inside of the box, is very neatly presented, as you can see. And inside, guys, it comes, on the left side, it has a micro switch joystick, and as you can see, we have the mini console itself packed neatly in the box. Just take a look at how tiny this console is, guys. Now with this, you can add more games, and that's always a nice option to have. You can also get the full-size version of this with a fully working keyboard, but in my eyes that just defeats the object of having a mini console. Plus I already own the original C64 computer, and let me tell you, them keyboards was massive. So yeah, if you want to save yourself some space, grab yourself one of these. But unfortunately the keyboard doesn't work on the mini version, and it comes with 64 games. Now 64, that's the perfect number for the C64, so you grab yourself 64 games there. Now I've got some fond memories of watching my brother play Ghosts and Goblins and Bruce Lee in the mid-80s when he actually got one. I never got to own one of these. This was a bit before my time. Okay, next we have a console I never owned, and that is the Nintendo Entertainment System. While many was gaming on this, I was enjoying the Master System, and unfortunately couldn't afford both back then. But this was released in Japan on July 15th, 1983. The UK, this didn't get released until 2 years later, and that was September 1st, 1985. Imagine that gap was gargantuan. And there's me moaning about the PS5 releasing a week later. We gotta count ourselves lucky that we're not back in the 90s. Now this is the NES Mini, but it's not your normal Mini. This is a Shonen Jump 50 anniversary version, and this is obviously Japanese. I like to get my hands on Japanese retro consoles because in the 80s and 90s, their hardware was better built and they had more enhanced features on both software and the hardware. And yeah, as I explained earlier, they got consoles years before the rest of the world back then. But lucky for me, I had a lot of import merchants, which I was fortunate to know. Okay, I decided to dig out the Shonen Jump weekly magazine and give you lot a inside view on what the magazine actually looked like. And there we have I think Goku on the front there from Dragon Ball Z. And yeah, this was created, well, the first issue was made in Japan in 1968, and I think this is like a comic magazine, and I think this is still ongoing up until now. They're still issuing copies of the Shonen Jump weekly magazine. But it was first started, guys, in 1968. Imagine that. It is, let me do my math there, nearly 52 years old, if I'm correct. We have some lovely illustrations on the front there, and it's the same as how the box was, but it's very colourful and vibrant with some detailed images of all the manga superstars. So there you have it, guys, the Shonen Jump weekly magazine. And I must add, guys, just to get this magazine alone without the console, the prices of this thing has just skyrocketed and gone right through the roof. So if you can manage to get your hands on one for a reasonable price and you are a collector, I will advise you to grab this ASAP. Right, it comes with 30 games straight out the box, and what stands out is this combination right here, and that's the exclusive colours of red and gold, and they're both on the console and on the control pads itself. And you got your little control stand at the side of the mini console there. So yeah, that's about it, the NES Mini console. Okay, next up, guys, we have the PC Engine, and the original console was released in 1987, and as you can see, this is the Japanese version. They call it the PC Engine. The versions in the west of the world is called TurboGrafx-16, and that was released a whopping 3 years later in the UK, and it was November 1990, the year of the Mega Drive. And yeah, this has a huge library, as you can see on the back of the box. These are all the games. You have 57 games, and you get some bonus ones which you can't get in the UK and other regions. I never actually owned one of these at the time. I was still zoning out to my Master System, but this console was loved by many, and to prove I have got it inside of the box, let me give you a quick glimpse of what it actually looks like and how tiny this system actually is. So take a look at this all close up and personal there. That's what the PC Engine used to look like, but we've got the Mini. Next up we have the Mega Drive / Genesis Mini console. Now once again, guys, I'm packing the Japanese version. Now this is my point about owning the Japanese version of things back in the 80s and 90s when it's to do with gaming. This version of the Mini console is shoulders above the rest, because right out the box it comes with the 6-button control pad, which is unique compared to the UK version and the Genesis version, as they only have 3 buttons. Now the original Mega Drive, guys, was released in October 1988 in Japan, and it came 2 years later in the UK and I think the other parts of the world. But I never actually owned one until really late in its lifespan, but I used to have a friend who had one of these, and I can remember some super times playing E-SWAT, Magical Hat, Darius, and of course the legendary Sonic the Hedgehog. Now with this version, and I think all versions of this mini console, you get 42 games, and on the back there it shows you all the games you get with it. But I think with the Japanese version you get 17 exclusive ones which you can't get on the other versions, and also only released in Japan, I think. And this is simply for novelty reasons, yeah? You can get one of these. Now what this is, you can turn your normal Mega Drive or Genesis into the Tower of Power, and you can hook it up to, as you see there, has the Mega CD, it has the 32X, and it has the cartridges there, the Sonic cartridge and the converter cartridge. So yeah, so you can hook it up to make it look like this, guys. I'm not going to do it right now because it would take up too much time, but that's what you can make your Mega Drive / Genesis Mini look like. And let me verify this one more time. This is non-functional, but it will make a good showpiece nevertheless. And to prove it's actually in the box, let me show you the actual mini console itself. So there you go, you can take a closer look to see what the Mega Drive Mini actually looks like, guys. So this beautiful machine here, as you can see through my camera lens, was released in Japan in 1990 November, and in UK it was released in April 1992. Now, I got mine imported in 1991, so I got mine a year early. So obviously I was the most popular kid on the block at the time because this machine was unheard of. Now I went from owning a Master System to having one of these with Final Fight, and I can tell you it blew my mind. And things got even better when I got Super Mario World, and then later on I got the arcade favourite Street Fighter Champions Edition. Now this console was game changing. By this time people in the UK were still playing like Master System, Commodore 64, and if you had a lot of money and you was a lucky kid, you would have a Mega Drive or an Amiga, and even Atari ST was up there. So yeah, this was a groundbreaking console to have for me, definitely. The graphics were night and day compared to Master System. Now with this you get 21 games, but I've got about 100 plus on this console at the moment, so you can get your hacking tools out and add more games to it, so that isn't too much of a problem. But the 21 games you do get is good quality games anyway, straight out the box. Now let me just show you what the actual console looks like, and to prove I actually got one in there. Now when I look at this, guys, it takes me right back down to Nostalgia City. I'm telling you, it's a very petite design they made of this. It's exactly what the Super Famicom did look like back in the 90s, and it was an absolute blockbuster machine to actually own. I love the Super Famicom. It's definitely one of my favorites. Now in front of me here, guys, is the ultimate emulation machine, and this is what they call the PlayStation Mini. The original PlayStation launched in Japan December 1994, and it came out a year later in UK in 95 September. So yeah, around this time things started to get a bit better with the gap shortening between release dates with the UK and Japan. What I've got now is the UK version, and it comes with a measly 20 below par games, which many people were disappointed with, but you can hack this to shreds, so it's definitely worth investing in. And that is the PlayStation Mini. Let me just show you what it looks like. So as you can see, it's identical to what the original looks like. Only difference is the size. PlayStation Mini. Okay, next up, guys, we have the Evocade, and this is a console / handheld, and this was released in May this year, 2020. Now, what is fascinating about this device, before I go, look at the insert there, how wonderfully designed it is. Looks superb. presentation is 10 out of 10. Now, as I was saying, the fascinating thing about this device is you play games by using a cartridge, and the cartridge like this, and on these cartridges, guys, there's like multiple games stored on them, and they're from, you can get, each cartridge is got it's from different developers. Like this one here is from Namco Museum. You can get ones from Atari, Data East, and it keeps on coming. Interplay, and I think there's more out there in the wild. Yeah, I think they've created more, and each of them has got like a collection 2, collection 1. Like I've got the very basic one here, collection 1 from Namco Museum, and it has various Pac-Mans and a few shoot 'em ups there. But yeah, the Evocade, it's very unique, and you put the cartridges at the top of the console like many other handhelds, and it looks a bit like that, guys. You've got the D-pad and all sorts. But another thing is, you don't have to only play it on a handheld. You can actually grab yourself a micro HDMI cable and you can hook it up to your television and experience the Evocade titles on the big screen. But you do need a specific HDMI lead. Normal ones won't work. It's like a little micro port that goes into this I/O there. And that's about it, the Evocade. And if you do check out my channel, I have most of the minis that I've showcased. I've done an in-depth unboxing on many of my collection circle videos, so yeah, you can go check that out and you can see it working and all sorts of stuff there. I'll show some gameplay so give you a more thorough look on the devices. Okay, the NeoGeo came before most of the consoles I displayed, but I didn't go in order of the year with this one because I just had to save and showcase the best until last. Now this is a NeoGeo Mini console, but it's very special because this is a Samurai Showdown limited edition version of it. Now boys and girls, right here is a gem, okay? And this was my latest addition to my mini console family collection. Now the NeoGeo console is very legendary, and I'm still trying to get the original one, but it was released in Jan 1990 in Japan, and in the UK it was released in 1991. Now back then the graphics was in a league of its own, as it was exactly the same. It was exactly the same quality as arcade machines, and the only difference is you had basically an arcade machine in your house if you owned one of these. And them days, having an arcade quality graphics machine in your house was definitely unheard of. So of course the price for a NeoGeo back in the 90s was as high as a kite, and not many people could afford the NeoGeo Advanced Entertainment System. Later on they made a cheaper version. It was a CD version, but it couldn't match the original cartridge console, which was the AES. Now with this, guys, it comes with 40 games, as you see printed on the back there, and it's including all the Samurai Showdown titles. And on the back of the box we'll have all the games that are installed on the machine. Then we got some masterful artwork on the box of Homaru, and it's printed on the sides there. Now as you can see guys, just take a look at the packaging here. This is what you call an antique, and the presentation of this box is miraculous. Just check that out. Nothing less than supreme. Now the neat thing about this as well, if you don't like the small screen, you can always hook it up to your TV, and if you got a NeoGeo Arcade Stick Pro like this one here, so there's what the Arcade Pro Stick looks like right there. So if you got one of these, you'll be laughing, because, so yeah, if you got the Arcade Pro Stick, you can pair it up to your NeoGeo Mini and you can have a better experience whilst you're gaming. And obviously, as you see here, it comes with 2 control pads. You could use that if you're more comfortable with using pads. Okay guys, that's a quick observation of all the mini console collection I have so far. I say so far because there's going to be many more on the horizon in the future. So okay, if you like the video guys, give me a thumbs up. Even better, subscribe. Till next time, see ya.